This is just getting out of hand at this point, as per Sports Illustrated, the Spurs have been linked to Kevin Durant once again, though this time in an off-season acquisition move. We have to dive into exactly what the report says and whether or not the Spurs will likely go after this move. I think you guys might be on board with me for that one, but we got to talk about that a bit later. We also have some highlights from All-Star Weekend, including some very interesting comments about Stephon Castle from Anthony Edwards, and a note on Victor Wembanyama and just what makes him even more special than we treat him. It's not even possible. I think it is, but we'll talk about all that coming up on this episode of Spurs Digest. And just a reminder, guys, 3/4 of you watching still, this number is actually above 76% now, are not subscribed. It's completely free. We got daily San Antonio Spurs news, rumors, reports, and now that the season's going to pick up again post All-Star break, we have you covered every single day. Hit the subscribe button down below if you want to stay updated. Thank you for being here. I want to talk about Wemby, because when do I not want to talk about Victor Wembanyama? When does anyone not want to talk about Victor Wembanyama? Look, our guys showed up at the All-Star Weekend this weekend, and I just want to highlight another thing that makes him a future GOAT. Yeah, I'm just going to say it, right? I think we all want to say it, but it's that work ethic, right? We saw the clips, we saw him cheese in that skills competition on All-Star Saturday night, and the league didn't like it, disqualified them, didn't even let them have the interview after the competition. But then came Sunday, and Wemby, he looked like the single guy who cared the most out there. You'd see guys joking around on the bench, like Kyrie and Steph laughing, and it cut to Wembanyama, and he was dead focused, eyes closed, basically meditating. We saw him reading before games, and Joker messing with him, laughing. Now, I think that was just Joker messing around, Nikola Jokic, but still, when it came to game time, Wemby, even though he came off the bench for Team Chuck, which, whatever, wasn't voted an all-star starter, should have been, but doesn't matter. He came off the bench. And when Wemby was on the floor, there was no one giving more effort than him. I mean, just in this final game here, that final one where Team Chuck lost, only scored 25 points. Wemby had 11 of them, and he shot 5 for 7, 1 for 2 from 3. A lot of those guys weren't even breaking a sweat, but Wemby, he certainly was, and we saw that, right? Look, I know we can just praise Wemby every single day and night right now, but I just want to keep giving him the praise that he deserves for being that one guy. Like, how often do you see a guy with his level of talent, his future, be so locked in, care so much about winning, even in the smallest competitions? People are scared to do that. I know for a fact, some of you, even me at times, sometimes you're scared to try because people might say something, whatever. Wemby doesn't care. He is trying at everything. He is locked in. He's focused. He stretches. He does everything he needs to do to make himself the best version that he can be. We're honestly just lucky. Just wanted to highlight that first, but we got to stay on All-Star Weekend because we know Stephon Castle was also a highlight of the weekend, and I'm not going to go through the dunk contest again. We've already made some videos talking about some stuff that Stephon Castle did. Still probably should have won the dunk contest according to me and Manu Ginobili and a few other people. Who else do you need to hear from? Let's be honest. But I want to talk about something that a certain player said to him, and that's Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards had a very interesting quote about Stephon Castle. If you haven't seen it, take a look. He said, "I enjoyed watching Stephon Castle." He said, he was asked about what his favorite part of the weekend was. By the way, that was the prompt to this. He said, what was the thing you liked watching the most this weekend? What was your favorite part? He wasn't prompted about Castle. He straight up said, "I enjoy watching Stephon Castle. I like the way he plays. I like the excitement he brings. His potential is scary." I think so. Depending on how his work ethic is, if his work ethic is how I think it is, his potential is unlimited. And that is, you know what? That is extremely high praise. I just realized I also put a bracket the wrong way around the word is. You guys are just going to have to ignore that for me. I'd appreciate that if you did. But this is awesome, right? Like, current stars in the league talking this way about Stephon Castle. I mean, for good reason. Stephon Castle was one of the most exciting parts of all of All-Star Weekend. And you know what? I think you could make an argument he was the most exciting, depending how you view Mac McClung. But like, to hear this from Anthony Edwards is amazing. But this is not the only thing I wanted to highlight on the Stephon Castle front. Check out this video, and I'll let the audio play here.
I'm sorry, but they told me to guard you, so I don't think I can let you score anymore.
Wanted that last one, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, I'm sorry. They told me to guard you, so I don't think I can let you score anymore. Great. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. He accepted his fate. This is the thing with Stephon Castle, right? Not only are we seeing him, like, dominating these Rising Stars games, Rising Star MVP, dunk contest, the dude has incredible skill. He's charismatic. He's funny. He's getting league-wide attention. This is something I talked about in yesterday's video, talking about this major shift and how Castle is starting to become one of these Spurs future superstars. Now, again, that's very high praise, and that's being very optimistic. Saying a future superstar is a bit crazy with the small body of work that Castle has in his career so far. We will need to see more before we can really officially say that's what he's going to be. But my gosh, like, to see this stuff from Ant, hear this from Grady, to see Stephon Castle messing around and people him joking, but also still locking up. He has that reputation as a good defender. He has a reputation around the league now, and for good reason. He's going to be feared for years to come. Leave some love for Stephon Castle. Leave a like on the video right now if you like Stephon Castle and you like all the attention he's been getting this weekend. It's been a hot minute. We got Wemby and Stephon Castle in Area 51 making headlines. Final thing, though. Look, I know a lot of you guys don't love to talk about this. I know a lot of you don't like this. Because I don't really either. Like, I'm gonna be honest. But I want to talk about this because, sometimes it's just these random websites. It is Sports Illustrated. I mean, not that they're like necessarily the prime source. It's a source, right? This is Sports Illustrated talking here, saying two new teams are linked to Kevin Durant. Straight up, the Spurs are linked to Kevin Durant in rumor circles floating around there. Believe him or not, those little underground rumor circles exist. So we're going to be talking about it because, not more so, are the Spurs going to do it? I want to talk about the potential implications if the Spurs do this. So hold on with me and we're going to talk about this. So I want to bring up the quote itself first. We'll make it full screen for you, so you can feel free to pause and read it, but I'm going to read it as well. Basically, Kevin Hicks at Sports Illustrated, I'll link this down below as well. Per the rumor, the San Antonio Spurs and Los Angeles Lakers could find themselves in play for the 15-time All-Star. The Spurs are clearly already looking to surround Victor Wembanyama with a winning team, and the franchise would have a wide array of intriguing young talent to offer in a deal, including rookie Stephon Castle. No, shut it down. I'm not doing this. Like, there's no way. An expiring Kevin Durant for Stephon Castle. Kevin Durant got a $54.7 million cap hit next year. And while he is certainly an amazing player, one of the best in the NBA still today, he's 36 years old, going to be going into his age 37 season. And the idea of even trading a guy like Castle for him is insane to me. Now, I've seen some other mock trades, sending out guys like Vassell and Keldon Johnson and a bunch of picks for that 1 year of Kevin Durant. Those are more reasonable, but the greater implications here as Spurs fans, like, why, right? At this point, we just went and got De'Aaron Fox. We gave up a lot of draft picks. Yes, the Spurs want to win while Wemby's still young, right? Like, we want to set him up for success as well, but we don't want to waste any years with him. We want to make this a long-term dynasty. The Spurs are trying to make moves to make that work. Right now, Castle looks to be amazing for the future. De'Aaron Fox has been a great addition so far. We don't know about some of the other guys like Vassell and Johnson, Keldon Johnson, maybe expendable moving on. But this, to me, is not the right type of move. De'Aaron Fox makes, I was still maybe a little hesitant. I was obviously super excited, but he's going to extend. He's in his prime. You'll have him for his prime years. He'll be coming out of his prime as Wemby is hitting his prime. You have Fox for a long time. You don't have Kevin Durant for a long time. Even if he does extend with you after that 1 year, he's going to be pushing 40. That's not the kind of guy you want to have a bunch of money tied up into. Now, he could be one of these guys that ages really gracefully, and maybe there is a world where you bring in a Kevin Durant, and this guy is putting up, say, 25 points per game until he's 39 years old. That could happen, but I don't think it's likely. And I think a move like this, especially if you have to give up any kind of significant future asset, is just a move in the wrong direction, because what you want to do when you build these contending teams is, look, first of all, I'm not the force on this. This is just my opinion. Let me just make that clear. But I think it's a good one. I'm gonna be honest. I like my own opinion that, like, you want to build yourself up for success, you got to keep some future assets as well, unless you really want to keep your tight window. If you are in the Spurs situation, you have a young Victor Wembanyama, you have a Fox who's going to be through his prime, you want to keep some future assets. Yes, I know we still have things like the Hawks picks down the road. Keeping those is going to be important, but giving away young pieces to acquire someone like this is something you do if you're a GM that's trying to keep your job, make this one last final push for a championship. There is no rush for a move like this to pay $50 million to a Kevin Durant. I don't like these rumors. I don't like the idea that the Spurs are going to be going after him. I don't mind the idea that the Spurs are linked to big name guys that they could go trade for, or even in free agency when we get to that this year or next year if Kevin Durant becomes a free agent, and when he will become a free agent next year. Like, I like the idea that the Spurs are now in for these big names. I don't like the idea of this move, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts, because I know we've talked about him a lot on this channel. But diving into the specifics of this, why I don't believe this will work for the Spurs and why I don't think it's a good idea for the Spurs, I think it's a conversation that we needed to have. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. That'll do it for this episode of Spurs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and like I said, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. We got daily Spurs content. You want to stay up to date? This is the spot to be. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, and I'll catch you all in the next one.